Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another anime review. So recently I was browsing through the summer 2022 seasonal anime on Reddit and a show called Lycoris Recoil caught my eye. It appeared to be an underage anime girls with guns aesthetic, which I'm just a huge fan of, that many of you may have gathered from my other videos on Blue Archive and Girls Frontline. And when I saw that my go-to anime review network, Kotaku, likened the anime to John Wick, as well as many other internet commenters doing the same comparison, I knew that as an ardent admirer of the John Wick franchise that I just had to watch this show. Unfortunately, after giving Lycoris Recoil an honest go, I regrettably have to inform you all that Lycoris Recoil is nothing like John Wick, and the show just left me very woefully unimpressed. The action in Lycoris Recoil is very generic and not well thought out. It basically is filled with jump cuts every millisecond that only serve to hide actual fight choreography. And sure, there are some few random John Wick style visual references thrown in here and there, but the only purposes of these references is just to bait out morons on the internet to tweet out side-by-side comparisons of the anime with John Wick and provide the anime with free publicity. What makes the action in John Wick so special is that it's actually comprehensible. There are few jump cuts, very few crazy camera movements, and few special effects. It's just very satisfying to watch the movie take a still, wide camera angle and let Keanu Reeves go off for minutes. Lycoris Recoil is nothing like this, as its action is super incomprehensible, and basically every fight scene is incoherent shouting about the power of friendship and crazy special effects as the characters charge up their special secret technique attack, and by the end of it I always found myself confused on how exactly the anime girls defeated their foe. Watching Keanu Reeves go on murder sprees as John Wick made me feel aghast and aroused, which was just not a feeling I ever got when watching Lycoris Recoil. But instead, basically after every action sequence in this anime, I would just think, well, that was dumb. And to top it off, all the kills in Lycoris Recoil are very boring, lame, and forgettable. Chisato, the supposed John Wick clone in this anime, never does anything even in the realm of gnawing someone with a pencil or breaking a jawline with a book. I was just really hopeful for at least one violent John Wick style kill done by an anime girl, but unfortunately the show just did not deliver on my expectations here. In fact, basically no one dies in this show. What I've yet to mention this whole time is that Chisato uses this weird rubber bullet technology that somehow hits hard enough to pierce through the frame of a car but soft enough for her victims to recover minutes upon being shot. I shouldn't need to clarify how this is nothing like John Wick, a character who actively confirms his kills. As for the other sort of main character in the show, who I do not recall the name of, she's basically just a total ripoff in both looks and personality of Orikita Suzune from Classroom of the Elite. And this was likely done purposely since Classroom of the Elite is airing its season 2 right now actually, so the creators of Lycoris Recoil just thought it would be wise to get people to associate this show with a more popular one. And honestly, I think this is working because at least for me, what got me to give the show a go is I saw a picture of it on Reddit and thought, what is Suzune doing with a machine gun in this next episode of Classroom of the Elite? Unfortunately, in terms of personality, the Suzune in Lycoris Recoil ends up just being an extremely unlikable version of the Suzune in Classroom of the Elite. Classroom of the Elite Suzune has a very snarky and deadpan personality, but she still comes off as witty and likable since she has good banter. Unfortunately, the Suzune in Lycoris Recoil fails to be witty or likable in any way and is really just an insufferable, sarcastic know-it-all. She's basically one of those type of girls who hide behind having a dry sense of humor to just be unnecessarily mean towards other people. And from what I've seen online, it's not just me, pretty much no one likes this character. The plotline of Lycoris Recoil is overly complicated and the characters talk too fast for me to keep up. It's just really frustrating that I kept having to pause the show to keep up with its subtitles, not because I'm bad at reading, but because the characters are constantly talking about overly complicated, esoteric topics. As for the actual plot line, well, it's basically just a more convoluted lesbian version of Spy X Family that I didn't really piece together until the final episode. This is nothing like John Wick that kept its story simple and easy to follow. John Wick takes more of a focus on subtle world building, which is just not how in any way lycoris recoil does its narration, like at all. And I just feel really lied to by internet anime fans and trusted anime reviewers like Kotaku for saying that this show is anything like John Wick when it's really not in any way. Overall, I was just woefully unimpressed by lycoris recoil. How I can most succinctly describe it is that lycoris recoil is to John Wick what The Witcher video games are to The Witcher books. Lackluster fanfiction that completely misses the mark on what made the original work so great. As for the score of this anime, I would give it a 8.7 out of 10.